Thank you for joining our demo today about contract management. I want to share with you the contract management application within the ServiceNow portfolio, really with regards to supporting other enterprise processes such as asset management. By being able to see contracts as they come up for renewal, you can reevaluate or even renegotiate to help decrease those expenditures. You can also ensure your compliancy by managing software entitlements and reclamations. Organizations, they overspend every year. However, potential savings are always hiding somewhere. Jobs, promotions, bonuses, all of those can often be at stake. This means that increasing those savings and decreasing those expenses could directly impact the success of your career. So today, I'm not only going to talk about ServiceNow, the application, the platform, and that solution, but also InSource and what we can do for you to help make your contract management implementation a success. We are a preferred gold services and sales partner. We do have an established vertical team with industry knowledge and experts. We also like to bring in not only the tools, but the processes and really marry those two together. We also have successful track records of deployments. So we're very proud of all of those things. Now, contract management, we're going to talk about today managing that contract life cycle, really honing in on your business process. So from draft to expiration and everything in between. Really, that kind of starts around approvals and making sure that's following your business's processes. Also managing those upcoming expirations, renewals and extensions, expense lines, all of those things that your business does today or needs to do tomorrow. ServiceNow is also really great at supporting those other processes. So hardware asset management as well as software asset management, we're going to talk about those today, but that it doesn't just end there. You can do cloud and financials, all sorts of things within the ServiceNow platform. It is for the enterprise. What ServiceNow also does is it supports external systems. So your contract creation software, document repositories, getting those digital e-signatures, all of those things can be done within the platform. For our demo today, we are going to take a look at two individuals. We've got Sophie, she's our CTO. Her main priority is cost. She needs actionable data. We also have Beth. She is our asset contract manager. She approves contract requests. She needs to be proactive about reviewing those expiring contracts as well. Let's go ahead and jump into the demo. All right, so what we're looking at right now is a dashboard for Sophie. Now, Sophie, her main concerns are going to be a little bit more high level than Beth, for example. So anything that you can report on in ServiceNow, you can definitely put into a dashboard, being that graphical representation of data. It's a little easier to see, and it's easier to take action on. So Sophie's going to be interested in things like service availability and customer satisfaction, but what we also can see is cost of service. We do see a trending line here using ServiceNow's performance analytics of the cost of service increasing over time. Now, this will help Sophie take some action in figuring out why are service costs increasing over time, and really hone in on how to take that type of action. Let's also take a look at another dashboard here. So we're looking at software asset analytics. And we can see a couple of things here. So overall product compliance. We also have percent spend not in use. That's very important. So what are we paying for today that we aren't even using? That's a big deal, right? Savings right there. Also, let's look at this in correlation to software spend. Here's another software asset management dashboard. This gives you some insight into your total true-up costs. So you definitely want to have that insight before it comes time for true-up so that you're not paying for more than what you need. We have here 6 publishers that are out of compliance, and that contains 12 different products that are also out of compliance, where we can actually harvest some of those and gain some savings right there. So this information being put on a dashboard graphically, with interactive widgets that will help you really drill into this information. It's very, very useful and one of the great strengths of ServiceNow. Let's go ahead and take a look at Beth. Now, Beth has her own dashboard, right? And so her interests and her everyday workload, very different than Sophie's, right? So her world revolves around assets and contracts pertaining to those assets. So like I said earlier, ServiceNow's strength really is around that contract management process. What is that life cycle? What is your business process? We can initiate this from, your contract generation software that really kicks off a workflow inside of ServiceNow. And that has begun with approvals, for example. So Beth has the ability to take a look at the approvals that have come in. And for example, we do have a contract approval requested right here. Now, ServiceNow does have the ability to attach a contract record. So Beth is actually able to take a look at the contract itself while she is reviewing the request for approval, for example. So she's able to take a look at that and then also see a little bit of information about the contract before she decides to approve or reject. It's that simple. Now let's go back out to the dashboard. And again, one of the great strengths right here of ServiceNow is having that insight of the contracts before they expire. What we see here are one contract is set to expire by the end of this month. So we should be working on that already, right? Maybe it's useful to also have a 90-day forecast, a 60-day forecast, whatever your business needs are in order to gain that visibility, give you time to renegotiate with the vendor, go through your legal process, all of those things. Definitely tailor this dashboard to your needs. By the end of the year, we're going to have 20 contracts that expire. Maybe your business, it's a little higher than that, and you need to get a proactive stance on it. So we also have a number of other widgets here. You can really drill down into what's going on into your contract environment. Maybe you want to take a look at the contracts that are awaiting review, that are under review, those that have been rejected. You can drill into the particular types of contracts as well. You can also take a look at contract expenditure by type. So what types of contracts are we spending the most on, as well as visibility into contract expenditure by vendor. So which vendor are we spending the most with and why? Is there a way that we can renegotiate and bring those expenses down? Let's go ahead and take a look. We do have, for example, 3 contracts with a particular vendor. This is really nice because it, gives you some insight on other places that you can address expenses, maybe renegotiations. Maybe you've got 2 contracts that are almost the same and you can consolidate some of those, reducing expenses as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at a contract record. What we're looking at here is a contract record for MacBook Pro maintenance. And you can see that we're able to manage some of the information about a contract. So this, ServiceNow, it is a database and it can put all of the information inside of ServiceNow that allows you to take that type of proactive action. So for example, at the rudimentary level, start and end dates. Maybe there's a PO that's associated with that. Who's the approver? Who's the contract admin? So when this thing comes up for renewal, who do we contact? We can definitely build all of that into the workflow as well to make sure that when it comes time for renewal, that some of that is automated to fit your business process. Renewals and extensions, they can also be managed here. So if we need to do some reporting, like we saw earlier in the dashboard for expirations, get that visibility into it before it happens. Maybe there's some costs that are associated with renewing this contract. We want to make sure to track that as well. The financials, so if there was a financials with the contract when we originally set that up, we need to track those as well. Terms and conditions. Inside of ServiceNow, you can create terms and conditions templates and have those associated with particular contracts as well. Manage those T's and C's. And then down here, we can take a look at assets covered. So not only are we able to see the contract, manage it itself, but what does that contract cover? And in this case, it does cover hardware and these particular MacBooks. We can integrate with whatever is populating or managing your hardware assets. So whether that's SCCM or ServiceNow Discovery, we can definitely correlate the contract records to your hardware asset records so that we're giving you a single pane of glass and really providing insight holistically. So not only your contract group, but also your IT asset management group. I want to go ahead and just take a look real quick at the hardware device here. So what we're seeing is the hardware record itself and all of the information that can be stored, reported on, and used to take action. So imagine, Beth has her dashboard to help manage the contracts for assets. You have also an IT asset management group. They would have their own dashboard that would provide actionable data that's reporting off of their hardware assets as well. So in this general section, we can see that this particular MacBook is in fact in use and that it's assigned to Ed. You can also manage whether or not it's in stock, on order, really track where this device is. You can also see its location, when it was assigned, when it was also installed. Take a look at the financials. So this would be the original purchase cost, the invoice number. So we can also integrate with your process with procurement and maybe the requests that initiated from it and really make it that kind of comprehensive business process solution. Also take a look at managing the disposal. So if your IT asset management group is proactively working on refreshes, we can also report off of the schedule retirement date. If that happens every 3 years, we definitely want to get a leg up on that, as well as managing depreciation for this device. All right, and our hardware asset, it does link back to the contract. So it goes both ways. We came to the hardware record from the contract record. We can also access the contract record directly from the hardware record. We can take a look down here. We do have assets that are associated with this MacBook. So things like peripherals that are assigned directly to this device, those would be associated with this hardware record. We have expense lines, so while this has that original purchase, maybe there was repair done, that was out of warranty. Those kinds of things could also be tracked to help you manage that total cost of ownership. I'm going to take a look at entitlements. So your discovery tool may be able to produce the software that is installed on a particular device. So we do have some insight in that. So I can actually get to the software record as well. Again, we've got that single pane of glass to provide insight for you. So what we're looking at is that software entitlement record here for Adobe. We do see that we have 750 licenses that are in use right now. We can also see what the cost associated with that is. And again, we can also access the contract record, directly from the software entitlement record. We're also able to integrate with your software deployment tool. So if your IT asset management starts with request and goes through an approval process and procurement and all of those kinds of things, once it gets down to the part where software gets installed, we can integrate with your software deployment tools as well. All right, so today showed you how you can manage your contract lifecycle, following those standardized business processes, get you that visibility on those upcoming expirations and renewals. You can integrate with your external systems such as contract generation, your document repositories, e-signatures, those kinds of things. Also supporting those other processes like hardware, software asset management. You can help reduce your business expenses. And all of that really leads to you being able to focus on more strategic initiatives overall. There's some great material for contract management on docs.servicenow.com. But feel free, if you have any questions, please reach out to me and I will certainly help you. Thank you so much for joining us today.